Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Here's a headline from the Crypto Basic. Ripple unlocks 400 million XRP from escrow, but transaction memo stuns community. And indeed, the memo associated with this transaction is pretty funny, and I'm referenced in it along with some others in the community, which actually isn't the first time this has happened. I can't recall if I've ever even talked about this on the channel. I certainly have talked about it on X, formerly known as Twitter. But as you well know, and I joke about each month because crypto media keeps covering it, there's 1 billion XRP that's released from Ripple's escrow every single month. And as it's released, memos can be attached. And I'll share with you what was attached, and it certainly has gotten the attention of our community. I also want to share with you this article from the Daily Hodl. Global crypto users to explode to 1.2 billion, predicts former Goldman Sachs executive. Here's his timeline. So just some quick math going on in my head there. That's probably somewhere roughly in the neighborhood of about 3 times the number of people in crypto right now. And so, for every dollar that goes into crypto, you tend to get a multiplier effect. And in particular, in times of excitement, when we get to the euphoric stages, prices get bid up really quickly. So you can imagine what a threefold increase in humans, and put institutions on top of that. You can imagine what that would mean in terms of price action, which is why I'll say again, I've said it many times before, but it's always worth repeating. Congratulations, kudos to you for being here before almost everyone else. Even if you're new to crypto right now, you might feel like you're late to the party, but oh, no. You are early to the party. You showed up to the party so early, it's offended the host. You were being very rude. Maybe come back later, you're so early. But before going any further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, I'll note at the time of recording, this XRP is at 70 cents. It has dipped a bit below that over the last 24 hours, but that's because XRP is doing what it does, following Bitcoin. Bitcoin got to a level we haven't seen in a while, actually, into the upper 28,000 region. So there's a 24-hour chart for Bitcoin. Now I'll flip to a 24-hour chart for XRP. It looks very similar. So XRP got as low as 68 cents. But again, that's not because there's something inherently wrong with XRP. It seems to be at what today, I guess you could articulate, is basically a new norm, and now it's at this higher level, but still while at this higher level, still moving in tandem with Bitcoin. Love to see it. Happy to see it. So what about this memo, this 400 million XRP? Well, let's jump into this piece. Ripple has unlocked XRP tokens from its escrow wallets as part of its monthly escrow execution exercise. However, one of the escrow execution transactions involving 400 million XRP contains a particularly strange memo, sparking curiosity among community members about its origin and the entity responsible for it. They also write, the memo was attached to an escrow execution transaction today at midnight. The transaction involved 400 million XRP, currently valued at $275 million. And so here's one of the many examples. This has been circulating pretty heavily on X today. And this one happened to have been shared by Santiago Velez. It's one of the first places I saw it. And here's the data pulled from, I believe this is BitHomp. And by the way, I'll say this before I even read. It's on your screen. I'll read it in a sec. But my understanding is that when there's an escrow to be released, anybody can release it. That's my understanding. You don't have to be Ripple. It doesn't mean that some employee at Ripple wrote what's on your screen right now. And I remember being caught off guard years ago when I first saw this, because this is not the first time that I've been referenced in one of these things. But this did just happen, and it is kind of funny. And I don't think I've talked about it on my channel, or if I have, it's been so many years, I just don't recall it. But anyway, anybody can release this thing, is my understanding. And I don't know exactly what the process, because I've never done it. I don't intend to. I don't have interest in doing it. So I haven't taken the time to look into that. But that's my understanding, is that anybody can go on, and if you're the first to release it, then it's released. It's still obviously in the possession of Ripple. It has nothing to do with private keys or anything like that. But if you do that, you can attach a memo, because memos can be attached on XRP transactions on the blockchain. And so here you go. The memo, it's on your screen, it reads as follows, and it references me and some others. And by the way, it's just the first part to make sure everybody gets this, and if you're on X, then you're familiar. when we hit the bottom of the bear market in November of last year, and that was as a result of the FTX collapse, and Bitcoin got as low as somewhere close to $15,000. As a joke, I changed my Moon Lambo name on what was then known as Twitter. I changed from Moon Lambo to Moon Family Sedan. And I thought it was really funny. I got a lot of lulls out of it. And I changed the picture of this terrible looking, like, I don't know if it's 40, 50, 60-year-old family sedan, red car. I just pasted it right on top of the Lambo that's in the moon in my little, my banner graphic, and just slapped it sloppily right on. And that's just what it was. I was Moon Family Sedan on that platform for like 8 months until we got the ruling. And that is, I didn't tell anybody when I would change it. There were two things that could have triggered it: for an unexpected dramatic price rise in XRP, or a ruling to the positive for XRP, in the SEC v. Ripple case. And we got one of those. So I did change it back that day very quickly. And so I went from being Moon Family Sedan back to Moon Lambo. And so that's what's being referenced here. And so the memo reads as follows: Sedan is now Lambo. Tepid jam is now hot jam. Hot jam. DAI's rat is caught on a mousetrap. Now, will Jeremy H's broken dock and hacked Twitter account be fixed? Will the party become a proper party? Will the revolution be televised? As a side, David, is the secret sauce a tepid sauce or a hot sauce? And so obviously referencing multiple people within the world of XRP, including me and attorney Jeremy Hogan, Jungle Inc. and DAI. And by the way, as far as Jeremy Hogan's broken dock, I'm going to assume that the vast majority of you know what's being referenced there. If not, please do yourself a favor and go watch Jeremy Hogan's very last video, in which he showed the damage done to his dock, which was incurred during the video before that, which we didn't know until this point. And it's only funny because I guess time has passed and everybody's fine. But man, there was an expensive mistake and it's ridiculous. So hopefully everything's fine by now. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, just check out Jeremy Hogan's very last video. You'll see it right away. It's okay. Everything turned out okay. Nobody's hurt. It's going to be fine. That's what's being referenced here. But on this idea of being early to the party, it's so rude you're here. The host is none too pleased. Still cleaning up around the house. Well, you're very early. And it's, even without guesstimates as to the rate of adoption of crypto and how long it's going to take, even without that, recognizing, if you're like me and you firmly believe that crypto's here to stay and it's just, in a broad sense, just going to be more adopted over time, even without additional expectations or predictions, well, then you should recognize you're early regardless, because only about 4% of humans have ever held any crypto at any point in time. And it may be something at this point on the upper end, I don't know. I was talking about this the other day, and I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, but it may be something like 0.5% of humans on the planet have ever held XRP. And when XRP ran to $4, it was more like a fraction, like much smaller fraction of a percentage of humans had ever held XRP. It was something like, I don't know, 0.008% of humans, perhaps. And that's the closest guess that I could get to anyway, and I broke down why. I don't want to do it again in this video. But the point is, you're early. And we are going to have another bull season at some point in the future. And I remember sharing a message like that, a message of optimism, in 2018 and 2019 and the first part of 2020. All of 2020, but I cited that because that was before Bitcoin really started to move up. Later in the year, did start to move up. I said, I don't know for sure when it's going to happen, but of course it's going to happen. Things don't stay low forever. And it happened. And so now I'm delivering another message of similar kind. Of course it's going to happen again. I firmly believe that anyway. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what that means in terms of price movement. I don't make price predictions. And I could be wrong and find everything goes to zero. I just don't believe it. I don't buy that. And so here you have the headline from the Daily Hodl. Global crypto users to explode to 1.2 billion, predicts former Goldman Sachs executive. Here's his timeline. And a primary reason this is exciting to me is because XRP is my largest crypto holding. It's my favorite cryptocurrency. And it's the only large cap coin on the entire planet that has legal clarity in the United States. To me, that matters. It's unshackled now, so I think it's going to run to a much more notable degree compared to what we saw in 2021 during the last stage of euphoria, where it ran to about $2. But it was shackled at that point. It could only fly so high, right? That's what it looks like to me. I think otherwise it would have hit a new all-time high. And they're citing Raoul Pal here, former Goldman Sachs executive, who does believe in a $10 plus XRP. And I know that because when XRP was over $1, he was talking about a 10x increase at some unknown point in the future from that level. So he ended up buying some XRP, and he said, hey, this is a good bet because, if we get a bad ruling in the SEC v. Ripple case, there's limited downside. But if it goes the right way, and I'm paraphrasing, but that's the concept he was sharing. Piece reads as follows. Ex-Goldman Sachs executive Raoul Pal says that the number of crypto users is on course to explode above 1 billion across the globe. The CEO of Real Vision and Global Macro Investors tells his 997,500 Twitter followers that a chart comparing the adoption of the internet and crypto over each of the sector's initial 10 years suggests that digital assets users could number 1.2 billion by December 2025. That's a lot. So there's about 8 billion humans on the planet. So you're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of what? Somewhere in the neighborhood of, just use a rough number, 12%, something like that. Well, it's a little more, a little less, doesn't matter. Again, that's about 3 times as many humans as are estimated to have ever held any crypto at any point in time. And if XRP is going to be one of those cryptos that continues to be in the top 10, and given that, I still do believe, by the way, XRP, although it gained back some ground after that positive ruling, I still think that the price is suppressed to a particular degree because you can't fix 2.5 years of damage overnight. And that's a question. That's something I didn't know. I was pondering that question out loud before the ruling. I was wondering, is it possible? Do we actually go to all-time high? And a lot of us were speculating, maybe it is possible. I don't know. It's perfectly reasonable to speculate that. But now we know the answer. The answer is no, it's not going to new all-time high immediately, which means that it's just going to be a longer ride to fix the damage that was done for 2.5 years. So if it still is suppressed, which is what I believe, and we're going to have way more people jump in and way more institutions jump in, what does that mean for the price of XRP? Which is why, for me, XRP has always been the sweet spot when it comes to investing, because it's a large cap coin, which means there's more money in a large cap than a mid cap or a small cap, obviously. And so if a large cap is going to take off versus a small cap, obviously the small cap is the one you'd want to be in because you get much greater multiplier effect. There's less money in it. Doesn't take much to get the price bid up. I understand that. But that's not the sweet spot for me. I'm not as interested in small caps. I have purchased some, but I'm not going to put much money in them. I'm not that interested in them. It feels like more of a gamble. It's much less certainty. Whereas with XRP, it's a large cap coin, which means it's one of the cryptos with the most money invested in it ever. But there's also not that much money in crypto. So even with XRP being where it is with a market cap of what? $37 billion? That means that almost no money went into XRP to this point. It's been a decade. Almost no money has gone into XRP to get the price bid up to that level. Almost none. So it's this sweet spot where, it's been tried and true. The technology works. It's been attacked for 10 years and hackers haven't been able to ruin it. Real world adoption is increasing. Developer activity year over year is higher. And I think that matters because I think utility matters and will win the day. So I look at that, all of these things, and then I'm like, yeah, it's a large cap, but there's almost no money in it. You can still get a crazy multiplier effect, which you couldn't get with Bitcoin. You're not going to get the same multiplier effect over a similar time period. It's if you want life-changing wealth from Bitcoin, good luck. Maybe wait a decade or two. Good luck. Because there's already so much money in it, it's not the same. But you look at XRP, way more opportunity there than in Bitcoin or ETH even. ETH has a $219 billion market cap. Bitcoin's is $568 billion market cap. So for me, that's why I say XRP is a sweet spot. There's not that much money in it, even though it's a large cap coin. But I think that small cap coins or mid cap coins, generally speaking, would be more risky. They're less time tested. They typically have much less adoption in terms of actual usage for individuals and businesses. So that's why I'm interested about this. Interested in this. And so the quote from him is, again, been running this chart for a few years now in Global Macro Investor, or GMI for short. It has been bang on target. The adoption of crypto is relentless. It will likely exceed the 43% adoption rate of the internet over the next 3 years. According to the former Goldman Sachs executive, the number of global crypto users could reach 5.1 billion by 2030, with central bank digital currencies and non-fungible tokens boosting the adoption of digital assets. Quote, going out to 2026, it looks like this. Central bank digital currencies will be a decent chunk of this, as will NFTs for tickets, ID, etc., end quote. So, we'll see what happens, and that's the chart on your screen. It indicates as much for those of you that care to look. But yeah, eventually most humans will be using crypto. It's just a matter of time. just like most humans use the internet now, right? I'm optimistic. That's why I'm saying, like, a lot of people were feeling like, and there's like the concept entered my mind when I jumped into crypto in 2017. Am I late? No, I'm not. I was not late. I was definitely not late. Crypto had existed for all of like 8 years at that point. So no, it's going to be here for well, I don't even want to say decades. It should be at a minimum hundreds of years, thousands. I don't know how long is mankind going to exist. You know what I'm saying. Whatever that is. As long as we have internet, maybe an asteroid becomes crashed into us, and okay, fine. Then I guess it's not lasting anymore. But outside of something drastic and ridiculous like that, not exactly worried. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lampo.